Hello everyone, Daniel Kerr here. First I'd like to say happy Halloween. Today is Halloween, and my boy Enoch is going to dress up like Spider-Man today, which is interesting because every single day of the year he dresses up like a different thing and he uses all these creative props. And then today, which is the day you're supposed to do that, he's going to use a store-bought costume. Okay. Anyway, so I want to talk today about the Micro-X, the Korg Micro-X. I'm going to bring the camera in here 1 second. Okay, I think that should be sufficient. Basically, for my live street setup, I wanted a multi-timbral workstation like a Rompler that could handle basically getting sequenced by the ES2 because of the Korg Elect Tribe's super limited amount of voices and voice stealing and their silly paraphony rather than polyphony and whatnot. So I've had my eye on a Micro-X for years, and just kind of been looking here and there, and every time one would come up for sale, it was something else that I wanted to purchase or whatever, with my never-ending gear obsession. Nonetheless, so here we are with the Korg Micro-X, and I found one on reverb.com, and I decided to purchase it because it was inexpensive, and I just happened to need it at this time, and it was a great deal. So I purchased the unit, and I got it home, and I pulled it out of the case. I got it just last night, and immediately I was amazed by the Rompler sounds. I knew that it was exactly what I wanted. Here's some examples, just big, lush, revolving pads, right? Now here's the interesting thing though. Within about 5 or 10 minutes, I realized that there was something drastically wrong, okay? Here's what's going on. I'm going to play a C. I'll raise an octave and play a C. Now listen to this. If I hold the note, it starts to flutter and pitch. So immediately I'm like, all right, well, that's kind of weird, but perhaps it's just the voice, right? So I went through some other voices and whatnot, and basically it doesn't matter where you go. There's that weird fluctuation in pitch. So if you switch sounds, it kind of resets itself, and then it kind of fluctuates again and again. So what I decided to do, well, okay, this is where it actually gets interesting, is that when you have these real-time controls here, and there's 4 real-time controls, okay? And there's 3 banks, A, B, and C. And the first bank is supposed to have dedicated destinations for these modulation controls. 1 is low-pass filter cutoff. 2 is the resonance or high-pass filter. 3 is envelope generator intensity. And envelope generator release is number 4. Okay, and then the B banks are assignable 1, 2, 3, and 4, so all assignable. C is supposed to be dedicated to arpeggiator gate, and arpeggiator velocity is number 2, arpeggiator length is number 3, and the tempo is number 4. Now, the thing is that you can assign these to whatever you want. So even though these are set, they're not really set in stone. But the problem with it is this. Listen to this. If I move one of the knobs, the pitch fluctuates. It doesn't matter what page I'm in. That is really, really weird, and I can't figure out what the problem is. Okay, here's here. Listen to it with an arpeggio. This is a different patch. Okay, that one actually did change the tempo, so that's good. But it's interesting. I can't figure out what the problem could be because this is a digital synthesizer. So how could it be going out of pitch like that? Is there something wrong with the tiny circuit board that these 4 knobs are connected to? Okay, one of the things that's going on, and this was listed in the seller's description, is that the pitch wheel does not work up and down. Okay, it doesn't bend any pitch. Modulation still works, and I'm not sure what one is filter, one's modulation, something, but the pitch wheel doesn't work. So I wonder if that has something to do with this thing going out of pitch. Now, in the seller's defense, he did say that he would refund my money, and he also said that that he was able to, or that he checked it out beforehand and that it didn't have any of these problems. Now, what I gather, what I kind of probably figure, it's got some discoloration in the keys here. Looks like it was used maybe in a smoking environment or something. I imagine that he probably just didn't use the synth all that much in recent times and didn't mess with the controls when he tested it. Because again, if you change voices, right? Let me just find a voice, and it kind of resets itself, you know, and it's got great sounds. The problem is when I want to use any of these controls, then it starts to fluctuate in pitch. Okay, here's an interesting thing here. If I turn on my tuner, okay, I got it set to chromatic, and I change voices. Actually, if I turn them all the way down, all these knobs all the way down, and I come back to the voice, I'll reset it by going to a different voice and coming back. If I play a C, oh, it's not plugged in. 1 second. All right, now you're going to hear it in mono because one side's plugged into the tuner. Anyway, if you play a C, it gives you a C, and it'll stay in there. It'll play all the notes correctly until I mess with one of these knobs, and even if I turn it all the way up and then all the way back down to its position before, if I play a C now, it's a D. So it really is unusable the way that it is unless I set these controls and left them right where they're at for the entire performance, which takes away half of the synth. All right, it takes away all of the real-time control. All right, and I have to use a MIDI controller, which is the reason why I got the Micro-X is because of its small form factor when playing on the street. The next thing is that, well, let's just face it. I love the sound of the synth. I would really like to keep it, but it's not worth it to keep it as it is now. It's going to require some repairs. So if you guys can help me out, I would love to keep the synth. And if there's any way that you can think that I could try to adjust something, I went to Global Master Tuning. It is not the case. It's tuned to 440. I reset all the parameters, give it basically a factory reset, which is according to the manual. Nothing. I downloaded the parameter guide, and I figured out how to disconnect the real-time controls per voice, not globally, but per patch, which is a real hassle and also doesn't help me as far as being able to perform while I'm playing the synth. The pitch bend, I don't really care about that much because let's just face it, this is a 2-octave keyboard. I'm not going to do cutting a lot of chops live, with using the pitch wheel and such. It would be sweet to be able to use it just as a sequencer and be able to just use the controls to modulate filter and such. Maybe scrub wavetables and this and that. It has a powerful synth engine. If you can help me, if you own this, if I'm missing something, please let me know. As it is now, just let me know if you think that it's worth it to try to fix it. If it's going to be somebody who might be a tech who's watching this, if you think that it might be an easy fix or something like that, then let me know, and maybe I'll try to negotiate with the seller. He seems like a very nice guy. He has excellent feedback on Reverb, and he regularly sells items that are a lot more expensive than this. So, yeah, like I said, it's definitely not his doing, But yeah, let me know. Be safe tonight while you're out there with your kids or by yourself, trick-or-treating or partying or whatever. Don't drink and drive, and I'll talk to you guys soon.